Yo, yo, what's up? Happy Monday. Episode 144. Let's do it. Come on in, people. Happy Monday. There we go. Still can't figure this out. Wow, we got a great group in here tonight. This is going to be a blast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Cardone. This is Evening Hour, episode 144. What's up? Happy Monday. If you're new to this show, please hit the like, subscribe if you're enjoying yourself. And yes, we do have a donation button. If you'd like to donate, just go to the description and check it out. I got a crazy show. We're going to be talking about UFOs and all this crazy crap in the news. I have a lot of stuff to go through before, but before we do the shout-outs, boom, Dan P. I have that book. We'll talk about that for a second. Hold on, this music's too loud. 1 second. Hi. Hello. How's it sound? Can you guys hear me? Is it quiet? Is it loud? Seems a little low on my readings, but let me know if it sounds weird. I'm drinking Guinness Zero, one of my new favorite no-alcohol beers. Yeah, we got my mama in the house, Ashworth, Jason, Angela, Chris, Scuba, what's up? Achilles, Dan, who else? I saw somebody in here earlier. Who else is in here? Jason. Oh, William, what's up? So if you're new to this group, jump in and say hi. Seriously, because there's a lot of people I know that are watching. Fallon, what's up? It's a little low. I can make it a little better. Let's see. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit like this. Hi. There we go. Is that too much? A little back. Right there. Perfect. If that's too much, let me know. Yeah, my mom is in this chat in here somewhere. There she is. Frances. My mom and I have a lot of really good chats. We do. She'll tell you. Sherman's in the house. Oh, we're going to have a good one. I need a lot of input tonight. Tonight's going to be a chatty show. Please, if you got something to say it underneath. If you've got thoughts and ideas, please say it. You know what? I just got a DVD I was going to show you. Oh, look at this. Has anybody seen this? Someone highly recommended it to me. But Tony, what's up, Tony? Anybody know? Oh, wait a second. What happened? Why did my live cam switch over? What the heck? Newscaster voice activate. Look at this. Has anybody seen this? It's hard to see here. Werewolf by Night, this Marvel movie. It was like a TV-only Marvel. First of all, I can't stand all the superhero crap. I've had it. But I saw Werewolf by Night Marvel, and it got good reviews as an old-school kind of produced horror movie. I'm going to check it out. Another thing I want to point out, I can't think if this is the first time an essay I wrote was published. I can't tell. I'm trying to think. Oh, the video's gone? Again? No, it's got to be back. Let me know. So, MRI. Oh, wow. Oh, you're actually getting an MRI. Wow, good luck with that. I can't deal with MRIs. Woo! Check this out. This might be the first time I was something I wrote was published, And it's quite an honor to be in this book that just came out. Visual Alchemy, The Magic Life of Jeff Sheridan, forward by Lance Burton. And it's essays and a photo journal by the artist Jim Moore. And it's essays and photos of a really famous magician that not only influenced me, but I ended up hanging out with the guy and making friends with him. And he lived down the street from me. Big mentor, wonderful artist. Anyway, this book, my essay's in here. And, yeah. So, very proud to be part of that. I'm trying to think if it's my first time getting published. Oh, there's going to be more publishings sooner than later. I have a million things written. I'm organizing it all right now. It's a mess. It's not easy to write, as many of you know. So I wanted to throw that out. Now, this is something important before we get into this UFO thing, because I am foaming at the mouth. Tomorrow, I'm going to get to participate in something that, like, you see in a movie. Thank you, Angela. So I am going to a local civic meeting. I don't normally do those kind of things. But if you follow me online, you'll see that I got a petition going to name our amphitheater in Rockaway Beach that's brand new on the boardwalk. I have a petition and a campaign rolling to get it named after the Ramones. Makes sense. They wrote our theme song. Colin, what's up? Now, some of these names in here, I know you maybe, but you got to tell me where I know you from if I do. Because some people in here, I'm like, I meet too many people at this point. What's up? Welcome. There's rules for playing these crazy on-chat games in the description. So go in the description. You'll see some chat games. You can win points and gamble. You'll see people playing. I'm going to this civic meeting, and I get 3 minutes to state my case. And I have paperwork to hand out to the media and the press that shows up, the local newspapers. And it looks like it's happening. It looks like it's moving in that direction. People seem excited. Now, there is opposition. And I don't know if I'm going to get cheesy and get everybody to, at the end, to chant, hey ho, let's go. We'll see. But I'm just going to be like, hey, what's up? I got 3 minutes. Wow, I love this. I started following you because my mom friend dated a magician. I love it. I love it. Excellent. Speaking of magic, I will be in Asbury, New Jersey, Friday, Saturday, Sunday as the MC and performer for the Asbury Tattoo Convention. Not to miss. I'm there all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you're around and you want to see a tattoo show that's not only you get tattooed, want to hear something funny? I've never been tattooed at a tattoo convention, and I work at them all the time. But they sell tchotchkes and weird things and stuff, and, it's that kind of a thing. So, obviously, I get those kind of jobs. Gabba gabba. Gooba gabba, one of us. So, I'm just going to be like, yo, I'm Cardone. I live in Rockaway Beach. I live down the block. The civic meeting is at the Knights of Columbus. I am a full-time performer, musician, and magician, and I do those things in this town on the boardwalk, and I'm here to propose the naming of the new amphitheater after the Ramones. And then I'm going to go into why they're so important. They're from Queens. They literally started a new musical movement that more people were influenced by than any other art form. And our town is turning into a little bit of an Austin, Texas kind of thing for New York City. Right here. We have more little music venues popping up every 5 seconds. Rehearsal studios, recording studios. Lots of stuff. Music. It's becoming a music town. And it makes so much sense. It's ridiculous. Hey ho, let's go. So yeah. What did I write here? The last line of this proposal, it says, Rockaway Beach's musical mascots were the most unlikely of musicians that changed the world. Let's honor them with something that would make them proud. The Rockaway Beach Ramones Amphitheater. Cue the music. You can't make it up. Oh yes, I have 1,600 signatures, which ain't bad. That's in 2 weeks, and that's with 0 major shares. Like, that's just me and my friends sharing, and the fans. Nobody like serious has picked this story up. It is being pitched to the New York Times. There's a few people that might jump in on this. Now, here's the thing, and I'm just going to go straight to the chase. If this goes through, I'm going to start doing the statue next. I'm going to start raising money to put a statue out here. An official bronze statue of the Ramones. I can't believe there's a Ramones museum in Berlin. No offense to Berlin. Das ist gut, ja? But, I mean, there should be one here in New York City. I mean, they are literally the embodiment of New York City. So, on that note, let's name the damn thing after the Ramones. Even the opposition, their main claim. Oh yeah, Little Steven, I can get them to show up. Little Steven hangs out here. He comes to Rockaway Beach. The only oppositions. Somebody said they're drug addicts. They do drugs. They promoted drug use. Yeah. They also got sober, 3 of the 4. And well, add Marky in there too. Marky, he's still alive, but out of the original lineup, who are all gone now, the original lineup's dead, all of them. But yeah, they got sober. They're not born here. Are you kidding me? First of all, they are from Queens, and we are in Queens. And it's like naming a street in D.C. after Francis Scott Key. I mean, really? It's a really silly argument for anything. I mean, honestly, I really thought about the argument of being born here being the rule for the president of the United States, and I can see why that's the rule. It prevents a quick little exploitative move that could happen from an outside player. It doesn't mean it can't happen with somebody born here, but it just seems more... what's this say? Sports players. There's this heart thing on my... I don't know why this little heart's here. Why is this heart thing here? There's like little Let me see if I click this heart what it does. No, it doesn't work. Anywho. So there you go. There's my little Ramones tribute to being such a fan and feeling like that they really did influence me musically, lyrically. I mean, they really were champions of free speech and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's got to happen. All right, let's keep moving here. We got a good group in here, and I really want to hear people chatting about this tonight. I don't know how long this is going to go for. I'm foaming at the mouth. Oh, Dan, Schopenhauer, Essays and Aphorisms. I just finished reading it, 2 months ago? I loved it. I loved it very much. You can really see where Friedrich Nietzsche got a lot of his juice. But after you read that, I highly recommend... yeah, what is this little heart thing? I don't know what the heck this is. Huh. Anywho, Essays and Aphorisms, excellent book for philosophy, for... if you want to read some modern philosophy that shaped the next movement, I would put him on there. Because Nietzsche, who's to me the king daddy of them all at this point, a lot of people misinterpret Nietzsche's idea of taking a hammer to philosophy. Some people interpret it as him smashing it. That's how Jordan Peterson interprets it. That's a shallow look at it. It's actually, you could look at it like a tuning fork. Ding! He's tapping things to see what they ring, and if they're dull and dead. That's a better way to look at it. For a city that's known around the world, and a band that's known around, not to name, I mean, no, really, thank you, Ashworth. Well, he really goes, I mean, the religious stuff is great. I mean, it's a book I'm going to read again. Really. I see. Oh my gosh! Bill Yon, what's up, buddy? It says, hey, YouTube actually notified me about the stream this week. Wow. I mean, really, they don't do that. Maybe it's because my algorithm caught up. I'm over 1,000, for God's sakes. My little heart, the little heart on my end, create little icon. I know, I don't know what this, did I do this? Is this something I put in here that I didn't realize via Streamlabs? It could be. All right, folks, let's go here. Let's get into what I entitled, let's chat about this UFO thing. I should have called it UFO, Bread and Circus, ? But I wasn't creative at the time. I didn't know what to call it. I just was like, look, I need to chat about this. I think about it a lot. I'm going to start off by saying I don't know what to think. If you're not following the news, I applaud you. I'll say that. Congratulations, I envy you. Whenever I meet people that aren't on Facebook or any social media, I kind of high-five them. Oh, before we get into the UFOs, I have a friend out in Rockaway Beach that I was showing him something on my iPhone, and he went, I know, what? And he goes, I haven't looked at a screen in 5 years. Wow. That's amazing. And he lives in a city. He's like, yeah, I've been avoiding screens. Anything with a screen, he doesn't look at it. So you can think about what that entails. It's wonderful to meet people that can pull that off in a city. I see, the mystery of the bubbles. So, here's my little thing on UFOs. Obviously, when I was a little kid, I read Chariots of the Gods, the Ancient Astronaut Theory book. Anything that had anything to do with UFOs, I would pay attention to. Clearly, people see things, and there's who knows what it is. It's unidentified. They could be natural, unnatural, things we don't know. Who knows? No clue. So let's fast forward to the late 80s, early 90s, and here comes this guy, Bob Lazar. A lot of people know him from the Jeremy Corbell movie that's on, I think it's on YouTube. So this Bob Lazar guy, and I'm going to paraphrase this quick because I tell this story all the time. He was a kind of a renegade physicist science guy who claims that he got a job where they had him reverse engineering UFOs at S4, the Army base down the road from, in Las Vegas, the, whatchamacallit, Area 51. So S4 is like down the block. And he said he got in and there was a flying saucer and they were like, yeah, the last crew died. And you're replacing them. And you only know a little bit. And these guys know a little bit. And these guys know a little bit. None of y'all know everything. They split them. They only knew one thing and they would work on one little thing. And this Bob Lazar guy supposedly was taking his friends to watch them test fly them. Secretly, he was going on another mountain far away with binoculars and his buddies, watching these things go up and down, and he got caught. The next day, he goes to the news with his face blacked out, going, hey, I saw this stuff. And then I think a week later, he went on and showed his face and was like, look, if I'm dead, here's why. But he kind of spilled the beans, and it's a lot like the guy that's out there now spilling the beans. The difference is Bob Lazar is a first-person resource. He said he saw the stuff, he worked on it. As for dead aliens and all of that, he said he heard about it, but he didn't see it. He also said Zeta Reticula is where they came from, what he heard. He's like, I don't even know if that's true. He's like, all I know is we have these flying saucers, a bunch of them, and we're reverse engineering them. And he explained in detail how they operate. And I mean really kind of fancy detail. I believe the guy. I mean, when you see the guy, there's no denying the guy's not making this up. Now, he could have worked on the stuff and it really wasn't alien technology. He didn't know. Maybe they told him it was. Who knows? Or he made it up. I personally think that he's not telling the truth. And that's from deep research and study. It won't let you gamble 666 on there? That's weird. So, I don't believe him. And I'll tell you why. I'm looking at this from an actor, from a con artist brain, carny, magician, performer mode. That's where I'm coming from, okay? Yes, okay, well, you're right. Bill Yon said he claimed to go to MIT and Caltech, but they said he never went there. Okay, you guys are going to like what I have to say. So he said, they erased everything. They erased his history, basically. Now, they do that. They really do have the power to do those things. So that could happen. That's possible. Here's where I see horse shit. Pardon the French. There's an interview where somebody yells out something about his college professors, and he couldn't remember them. He didn't remember their names. That's a big red flag for me. I remember most of my teachers' names, even my elementary school teachers. And I've asked other people. Most people remember teacher names, especially the good ones. 2, somebody asked him a detailed question about the technology of the thing. And his response was quite astounding, and I can't believe a lot of people don't fixate on this. He was basically like, I don't really get into that stuff anymore. I used to talk about it in detail. You can go look it up. I don't do that anymore. Now, that's like asking me to do a trick, and I go, I don't do that trick anymore. What do you mean you don't do it anymore? If that's the only trick you do, then you should do the trick, right? This guy claimed to have been a physicist at a flying saucer and actually was there touching the stuff. I would be foaming at the mouth to tell the stories. I'd be like, yeah, what do you want to know? We don't have a lot of time here. So I always put myself in people's situations and give a response. Well, we'll talk about that, the AI part. So if I worked on some sort of secret technology that is literally the craziest thing ever to happen in human history, ever, then I'm going to be foaming at the mouth, and I'm going to be really ready to go with that kind of info to keep it going, to be like, no, I really did see it. I saw this battery that had like a weird cloth on the side, and we weren't allowed to touch it, but they said somebody touched it, and, we would sit there for I would be able to talk about it for, if you ask me to tell a story, I'm just trying to pick a moment in my life that's a little bit more like crystallized. I got it. Very, very strong memory. When I got cast to play Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet in a professional Shakespeare company, and I got to be the fight captain. I could talk hours about the details of the fight choreography in Romeo and Juliet. The nuances, the things I learned, the new things I tried. And this is almost 30 years ago. And I remember it very clearly. And especially stories that I told over and over again. And I don't even tell that story over and over again, and I can access it. So I had a few red flags go off. Now, when I saw the Jeremy Corbell movie, it made me believe it even less. Because they were focusing on garbage. Like him getting raided by the feds because he sells toy chemistry sets. And it was like a weird... It looked like they were trying to make something seem a little more serious than it was. And whenever I see that, it makes me wonder the validity of their actual claims. If somebody's a bad guy, why do you have to make up stuff about them? You just point out the stuff they're bad at. It's usually because the person goes, all right, they're bad, but I'm also bad. And I can't criticize them on some of these things because it's going to spin on me. So therefore, he's bad. I'm going to make up stuff about him. It's a dirty old trick. It's been around for a long time. So, now, let's skip Bob Lazar and move a little forward to now. Let's go 7 years ago when they say, on the paper in the New York Times, finally admits UFOs are real and we have materials. People always forgot it mentioned materials. Now, the New York Post in New York City is famous for being a tabloid. But their YouTube channel has a journalist that did an expose on this phenomena of this new UFO thing. If you go to New York Post and you look up Skinwalker Ranch UFO, you're going to see a guy that shows you the money. So, you're going to like this. Bill Yawn. Two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. 100%. Arthur C. Clarke. Wow, I love it. So, all right, now let's go to this whole government admitting there's UFOs and having a program thing. Well, the lady that wrote the New York Times article gave it a lot of clout. And the reporter asked her, when you did that article, right, why didn't you mention that some of the research they were doing was also for werewolves? For werewolves! It makes no sense. And she said, well, I wanted to, make sure the article had validity. So, is that not a red flag? A big one! That's the, oh, hey, Kevin, what's up? I love that pink hand. What is that? That's great. That's a red, that right there is a ding, 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 ding. Houston, we have a problem. Front page, New York Times. Oh, I left it out to give the article validity? Are you kidding me? Now, they had $22 million for this government program. And for government programs, that's not a lot of money. Well, it turns out Harry Reid gave his friend who owned the Skinwalker Ranch a bunch of money to do research. Go look up the Skinwalker Ranch. It's ridiculous. It's literally, they bought it to make TV shows there. I mean, it looks so over the top and silly that, yeah, hold on one second here. I'm getting hold on one second. Check this out. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. So, this New York Post thing basically gave it a little bit of a peek behind the curtain at the actual workings of what's going on here. And the fact that they're leaking it out and they're showing these videos right now, all the videos they're showing are these drone-looking Tic Tacs, and I believe the pilot, yeah, we saw this weird drone. I don't know how it flies around. They say it defies gravity. I mean, there could be a million... Before we get to Alien, there's a million possibilities, and we're going to talk about them tonight. But, okay, now let's fast forward to last week. The guy's name's David Grush. David Grush is like a high-up military guy who basically is like... And it's not even sort of this. He's like, I saw evidence that shows me, and that I saw, that not only are the UFOs alien, but we have a lot of them, and they're hostile. It's not necessarily a good thing. And we have crashed ones, we have bodies. I mean, he's just like, it's kind of all true. And he sounds pretty legit. I watched the body language. There is a few red flags with the body language. But I have to study it a little longer. Bob Lazar has great body language if he's lying. If he ends up, we find a smoking gun that Bob Lazar made it all up, he should win an Academy Award because he's really good. I mean, and this new guy's pretty good too. But a few times he does a couple of, I'm going to just start calling it the Amber Heard. Here's the Amber Heard. You go, have you ever hit Johnny Depp? And this was her answer. No. No. So, this David Grush guy, there's a few times they ask him things, and he has some weird, it's actually kind of weird. So, here's what I want to throw out there. And people never say this. He could be telling the truth. Okay? He could be telling the truth. But that doesn't mean the stories are true. Why doesn't anybody ever break it down like that? He could be telling the God-honest truth of what he saw, but it doesn't mean it's true. At all. Why is that such a hard concept to understand? Well, there you go. That's a really far-fetched answer, Bill, but I like it. Or Lazar is a schizophrenic and actually believes what he is saying. Yeah, it could be. That is a phenomenon, I'm sure. So, oh my God, can you imagine if one of your schizophrenic brains concocted a plan to dupe the world, and then your other schizophrenic brain was able to absorb it as a reality, and then, wow, okay. Yeah, that's kind of a neat concept. But, okay, so this guy, this David Grush guy, he could be telling the truth. Now, a lot of people don't lead with this in the news, but the feds, he went to an official whistleblower program to leak it. Ooh, Dr. Jacques Valley. No, tell me, Greg, who this is. Point me in directions. I'll look. So David was, after he went to the whistleblower program, they gave him the okay to leak this stuff. That's right. They said he was allowed to. What? Okay. So what were they like, oh no, our goose is cooked. I guess he's allowed to. No, because while he's doing this, he goes, okay, well, this I can talk about, and this over here is classified. I can't talk about it. That's what he does in the interview. It was hard for me to find the full interview, but you should watch it. He also says that some people have been killed or hurt by these things. He doesn't say how. According to Bob Lazar, the reactor that makes the anti-gravity work is radioactive. The other thing Bob Lazar did that's kind of BS is he claimed that they had a new element. And then, well, look, we discovered it. It's like, no, we didn't. It's just the number sequence. It would be like if we only had 52 elements. And I was like, they're going to discover element 53. And then they discover some new element. And they go, yeah, it's number 53. And I go, look, it's 53. That's literally what happened. It's kind of BS. So, on to the new guy. What could it be? Before we get to aliens, dimensional shifters, time travelers, all the other weird possibilities, well, what if 100 years ago, or 200 years ago, a scientist discovered some physics that, that got hidden? You know, Nikola Tesla, they did not treat him very well. They downplayed his developments. He had a lot of stuff that no one even knows what it was. He invented a lot of secret stuff that got bought out by the governments. So who knows? That easily could be. And these could be our things that one agency is working. Oh, one of the things this guy did say, David Grush, is that it's fed and private. So there's a private company. So they have some sort of new drone. Whether it be alien technology, whether it be man-made technology, whether it be man-made reverse engineered from something found or discovered, right? There's something. There are some videos of these Tic Tac things. Now my question is, and here's my questions. Well, the big one, there's no hard evidence. Zero. Never has been, never will be, maybe. I don't know. I've never seen one. Why are none of the videos, why did none of them show anything crazy? And when I mean crazy, I mean, like, people I know that have seen them said, I've met people that are like, dude, I saw them, and when you see them, they freak you out. They make you upset because they move unnaturally. Like, imagine a drone. You're like, what is that thing? And it starts doing this, like really herky-jerky, like unnatural. Well, why isn't there any video of that? There is a video of something like going in and out of water, but that would be the craziest thing I've seen. But everything else is just kind of moving, and they're following it, and, you know, it's like that. None of it's like, you never see anything move and stop, move, stop. You don't, it's not like that. One of the details that I think is neat is Bob Lazar said that these crafts, because they use gravity, are jittery. When they're not moving, they're not able to, like, stabilize. They're kind of jittery. And when they jitter, and then when they move, they move like crazy fast. Favre is the name. Favre, F-A-R-V-E. The pilot that said he saw the Tic Tac, he said he saw the Tic Tac he was jittering on the surface of the water as they were flying, and then it went and went up to them and started to, like, fly around. And then when he went at it, it took off. So there's some stories that correlate, which means I think Bob Lazar might have been around people that saw these things. He also could have been fed a line of horse shit so that he would spread it around. How many times does that happen? Oh, I just want to say this. I'm very shocked that people make fun of conspiracy theorists. I'm shocked that people don't assume that our government does inside jobs, especially in politics. And I don't want to get political, but it happens all the time. We do it in other countries all the time, and we do it domestically. And we do it domestically a lot. Whenever there's a protest or something, there are feds on the ground. I don't care whose team you're on, they do that stuff. And if you don't believe me, you're a loser and need to go read a little bit about history. It's insane. I mean, look, we basically know who killed JFK at this point. It's like right in front of our faces right now. It's not even a mystery. It's so obvious. It's beyond obvious. So, for them to use PSYOPs, as Bill Yawn's pointing out, that's real. We might have technology we want people to think is from outer space. Why would we not do that? That's a pretty big advantage. Now, let's hit a pause button. Actually, before I hit the pause button, I highly recommend Pooter Tutors. It's not easy to use. Most of the reviews for these things are bad because, people don't know how to use them because they're really hard to use. Oh, there you go. It's an art form like no other. If you put this in your hand and squeeze it, it's probably going to sound like this. But if you master it and you put it in the right spot, listen to this. It sounds so real. It's unbelievable. And you can get different ones. You can get squeaky ones. Let's get a squeaky. So anywho, highly recommend it. If you like pulling pranks on people, you have kids, you like to embarrass people, highly recommend it. Pooter Tutor. I don't work for these guys, but okay. So anyway, let's hit a pause. Boop. Let's pretend it's real. Why would they hide this? Why would they keep it hidden? If they went on TV and said, okay, you know the guy that just did the leak? He's telling the truth. It's time to show you what we've known for many years now. And it's true. There are others. They are around. We deal with them. We have some dead ones, but there's also living ones. If that happened, reality as we know it would change. The way we dress would change. The words we use would change. Everything changes on a dime. It'd be the biggest news story, the biggest part of our human history since the dawn of time. It would be the biggest thing ever. Literally, it would alter everything. And then the chaos would begin. Well, who knows? What do you know? What did they tell you? What did you gain from that? Who's got the advantage? You have military secrets from them? What? It would start to get nuts. Someone should write a script on that end of this whole thing. And, like, what do we get out of it? If we found it, we clearly apply it for military use. Why would we not? Wouldn't you? I don't think they would have found anything in Area 51. If that's where everybody thinks you hide the gold, you clearly don't hide it there. You hide it down the block, which is why S4 is probably the one to find. The other bases around the desert. People that live in Nevada say they do see a lot of weird stuff, but it is test pilot crap. We remote control fart. I love it. Oh, I love it. Fart machine. Yeah, I never had one. Now, I look at this and it makes me have so many questions. Is this bread and circus? Are they distracting us from all the politics going on? Right now, all the politicians are on a hotbed, left and right. And, they're trying to, whenever this kind of stuff happens, if you look, they're usually passing some weird laws they don't want anybody to know about. Now, no weapons of mass destruction here. Yeah, obviously, yeah. I mean, we clearly have technology that we keep secret. Look at the stealth bomber. When did they invent that? That looks like a UFO. Imagine seeing a stealth bomber 25, 30 years ago. I mean, it looks crazy. You're like, what the heck is that thing? Now, how about this? How about the most compelling evidence I've ever heard of UFOs are stories where lots of people see them. The Whitehall School in Australia, where like 200 people saw it. They were told not to say anything. The newspapers scrubbed all the news. Clearly they were hiding something, and no one talks about it. That's a big one. And the people that saw it, they're messed up. They're like, I can't believe this experience happened to us, and no one's allowed to talk about it. It's like, wow, it's like gone. Like, it's weird. And then there's a school in Zimbabwe where one landed, and then they sent over a Harvard guy to interview the little kids. And according to the Harvard psychologist, these kids saw something weird that doesn't make any sense. These beings could be us. They could be future us. They could also be a lot of the UFOs they see in the ocean. Well, if you look at the government stuff, they're always saying they're in the ocean. So there could be other things here that we don't know. Could we, using our modern technology, camouflage ourselves from a tribe that lives in the Amazon? Would we be able to do that using modern technology? Would we be able to mask ourselves and be, hey, what's up, Lorcan? Yeah, would we be able to hide our presence to a more primitive group of humans? I think we could. I mean, we could build special makeup effects and we could use all sorts of stuff, right? So why would it be, to me, those are all possibilities too. But if I had to use my gut instinct, I would say that this stuff is ours. And PSYOPs is real. That we've all seen the hard evidence of PSYOPs because they admit it sometimes. After 20, 30 years later, they go, yeah, we were doing that. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? If it is an alien, one guy was like, look, if it's an alien, we're probably dealing with a bunch of AI bio machines. It's a form of an AI that travels. That's more likely than a biological creature. But again, it could be that too. Who knows? There's no evidence, folks. Zero. Zilch. I want to see a crashed suit. Yep, just put on a ghillie suit. You're right. Yeah, that might work. They'd be like, what was that? There's no evidence. There's not a great video. I've never seen. Now, the Bigfoot video, the Patterson Bigfoot video, still to this day looks pretty cool. If it's fake, which it probably is, it's really good. The UFO video that I see, not a lot of it's good. I've seen a couple that are pretty like, that's weird, but for the most part, there's one where it looks like you can see people inside. Look for that one. You can like see the piloting. That's a weird one. But I honestly, like, there's no evidence. Nothing. Now, the guy, David Grush, I don't know how to pronounce his name. This new guy that's doing the actual whistleblowing leak. Speaking of whistleblowers, I don't know if you saw the Congress tell the whistleblowers not to call themselves whistleblowers. It was pretty hilarious. Literally, they're like, you're not a whistleblower. And they're like, yes, we are. We're blowing the whistle. No, you're not. It was pretty funny. Unbelievable. Anywho, talk about gaslighting. Woo! The whistleblower, David Grush, is like, he looks pretty honest, and according to him, there are other people that are going to be part of this. So, let's sit tight and see where it goes. They are using the validity of the New York Times lady's article to tie into this new thing, which I think is a bad thing because it's tied to that Skinwalker crap. Somebody in here wrote earlier, yeah, they watched the Skinwalker show and nothing happens. Yeah, it's like all the ghost shows. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. It doesn't mean it's not a phenomenon, but as for what they're saying it is, like the literal end of it is not there. That's how I look at all supernatural, unexplained things. It's like, if it's happening in your imagination because of something happening, well, that means it's something triggering your imagination to do it. It could be a sound wave. It could be an idea. It could be all sorts of things. It doesn't mean it's not real. This is another concept. We can have states of mind that are real, but not real, if that makes any sense. It's common. It happens all the time. It's like, yeah, it's real for you in that moment. It's a reality. It exists in this realm, but outside of you over there, it's not there. That's possible. So, the Galactic Federation, yeah, it would be kind of interesting. Can you imagine? Yeah, I don't know. I lean to the skeptic. Look, I like the X-Files guy. I want to believe. I do, but I am in the con artist business. I see through a lot of stuff. I see how it's used throughout history. Whether it be ghosts, devils or demons, an outside alien, whatever it is, it's an outside unknown. And because it's an unknown, it has a little bit of a negative feeling. Unknown and different is immediately negative. This is why people are bigots and racists and assholes. Our early caveman, if you didn't know what something was, you didn't run over to it and hug it and go, I love you. You go, who's that? Right? That's what we evolved, that our fear brain kicks in first and assumes it's bad maybe first before it walks over and shakes its hand. So things that are unknown lean in the dark. In the dark meaning the negative, the fear, the scared. And so whether it be demons or angels or flying saucers or leprechauns, whatever, unknowns, it could fall into this category as part of the zeitgeist of our history. Now, that's why I've been getting into Jung, because Jung, he's like, look, all of these archetypal types of things that exist in our world, whether it be mythology or what, this UFO crap I'd put into the real mythology kind of a category. Yeah, no body, no crime, no deal. Yeah, it's, I mean, right now, that's how I'm looking at it. Like, I have seen no evidence. really, I've yet to see any compelling evidence. Testimonial evidence is terrible. It's pretty terrible. Because then you got to believe all the religious kooks. All of them. Because there's so many different ones. Who said it? Hitchens? Was it Hitchens or Dawkins? Either all the religions are correct, either all the religions are wrong, or either one of them's right and the rest are all wrong. There's only one of those that makes any sense to me, and that is they're all wrong. The first one where everybody's correct, I could see how that could be argued, because what is right and what is wrong, if we're going to go that way. But I have to lean to the everybody's wrong, because we don't know anything, actually. And then the old I'm right and the rest are wrong. Well, we all know who that is. That's the totalitarian spiritualists, the monotheists, the Judeo-Muslim Christians. They all think each one of them is correct. And the rest of the world is wrong. And that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. But aside from that, really, I don't know what to say. I'm excited to see where it's leading to. It's kind of a... Can you believe the government said there's no such thing as UFOs, and nobody believed them? And now the government is saying that there are UFOs, and I would say most people don't believe them. Most people I talk about it with are like, they don't really buy into it. Interesting. Why does this whistleblower remain free in our country, yet whistleblowers like Edward Snowden had to leave the country? I'll tell you why. Because the guy that's staying in the country, they wanted him to whistleblow it. That's got to be why. You're right. That doesn't make any sense. You're right. The real ones that are going to die have to leave. That's it. I like Lorcan. They're all wrong. I am the one true God, and I want to be worshipped in a tub of chocolate pudding. That's good. You can just imagine someone bathing in it. Like, come look. Yeah, the Mormons are correct. We all know that. Mindful Buddhist? Buddhism has some I love how Friedrich Nietzsche kind of liked the Buddhists and the Jews for different reasons. Out of all the religions, I think he thought they were the most interesting. I won't say he liked them, but Buddhism, suffering comes from our attachment to the material world. Duh. That's what I always thought when I heard of the Buddhist principles. I'm like, and? Like, all right, so now what? No attachments? Okay. I get what they're, like, they figured out something, but that doesn't help existentialism or an existentialistic crisis. I guess it does in some ways. To me, it devalues some of the elements of what I would call life. And that is the pain and suffering, unfortunately, is what defines the mirrored images of what we call life, reality, goodness, whatever. It's like it's part of the deal. So, I don't know. Everybody's got some sort of suffering coming. And how you deal with it is what ultimately it seems like we're getting ready for. I mean, we're not animals, so we don't have to like run out and start hunting for our food in the morning and then breed and then hunt for food and breed and then eventually die. And that's it. We get to sit around and think about what to do with our chemical computer here. And that's the way it looks to me. Mindful Buddhism. Is it mindful? I guess it's mindful. Yeah, I was interested in Taoism and Buddhism as a philosophy when I was young. Oh, Demon Haunted World is very good. I have read it. Ashworth, I read Demon Haunted World maybe like 20 years ago, and I still remember some of the parts. It is good. You might already know, or, if you want a good read, I mean, you're already somebody who probably understands a lot of the concepts that are in there. I'm trying to think of the kind of stuff you like. You know what's a good read? The Myth of Sisyphus by Albert Camus. It's a philosophy book on absurdism. The opening line is basically like, the only philosophical question is whether or not to kill yourself. And then the book starts. And it is a journey into the whole concept of us having no purpose in this life and trying to find a purpose. It's pretty neat. It's a good psychological mind screw. But I don't know what kind of stuff you like. I mean, you might like it. The Carl Sagan book's a little more science-y. So if you're a fan of science, then maybe the Carl Sagan book. Yeah, I read it. I like it. It is good. And it's an easy read. I remember it being pretty bang zoom. It's a thick book, though. I don't know where I have my copy. I remember it being pretty thick. I'm a fan of Camus. I do like him. But Friedrich Nietzsche, if anybody asks now, my favorite books, Beyond Good and Evil, I have to put in the top 5. I mean, when at the end of the book I stood up and I gave it an applause. It's not an easy read if you don't know anything about Friedrich Nietzsche, I'll be honest. But I made it like kind of like I was taking a college class on it and focused on it and blew my head off. What to do, man? Give me some thoughts. Where should I look? I want to do more research on this UFO guy, but it looks like I gotta wait. All the people running around doing interviews, Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, notice none of this new information mentions Bob Lazar. None of these major news sources, whistleblowers. This whistleblower guy could have been like, hey, remember Bob Lazar? He was right. No, he did not. Nobody mentions Bob Lazar. So I think he is a con man. He has other things that make him seem like a con man if you look at his personal life. If he is, he's a good one. And he deserves an Academy Award. If he's not, he's kind of not very enthusiastic about what his old job was. I mean, the guy said he worked on actual alien craft. I mean, come on. He invented what we consider the Area 51 modern story. Yeah, you're right, Fallon. Everybody has a camera in their pocket now that you can whip out and hit really quick. And there are a lot of videos of things that are unexplained, but nothing juicy. Nothing where you're like, okay, that looks weird. Like, that is unnatural. Nothing. Zero. So I'm under the belief we're watching a PSYOPs campaign happen as a version of Bread and Circus to distract us from the fact that there are literal people saying the CIA and the feds not only killed JFK, but when they realized that they didn't have any more power because the internet got so much stronger, they had to get their hands on everything online, including social media. They influenced Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Even Zuckerberg just admitted that he was being forced to say some things about COVID that probably weren't true. Look at what Zuckerberg just said. Everybody's starting to naysay now themselves. They're like, yeah, well, that wasn't really true, but we kind of had to. They're doing it now. And I hate to say the old I told you so's, but it's going to get louder and louder. And so now that we know that the feds are that literally involved, some of these protests they're saying had hundreds of feds on the ground. Hundreds? Wow. And they are keeping their stuff secret because we had a couple whistleblowers say, if you are in the FBI and you say you saw something you thought was a little wrong, they don't fire you, they remove your security clearance, which means you can't walk into work. And then they don't fire you. So now you can't get a job anywhere else because you're not allowed to. And you lose your health care. They do a really scammy thing to make sure you don't say anything weird. It's a way of preventing whistleblowing. And so as the guy's blowing the whistle, they're telling him that he's A, not a whistleblower, and B, and now all of a sudden we have all this UFO stuff. So look at Bill Clinton when he was doing his funny business. Like all the news stories, they start to do these things. They have an office where they sit and think about these things. PSYOPs is real. It's been around since the dawn of time. Vlad the Impaler is one of the first guys to start figuring out, he's the most famous one, PSYOPs. How to psychologically use these tricks to your advantage. Would I do it if I was in charge? Maybe. I mean, it is a powerful tool to use mythology and our brain, the way it works, our existentialistic crisis that's ongoing, how to use that to their advantage. Use the unknown. It's been around since the dawn of time. Well, folks, I had a lot to say. I hope this made some sense. Feds are going to be busy in Miami. Yes, they are. I don't think Buddhism really colored in all of the lines. Some sort of, yeah. Buddhism for me, I liked Taoism the best, just because some of the principles were easy for me to understand. Like, what makes a cup useful is when it's empty. Meaning, the analogy is, people that are filling their holes, no pun intended, you don't have time to take in wisdom because you're plugging everything. So when you empty, when you meditate, and you clean out your mind, you're not listening to music, you're not smelling anything, you're calm, you're able to think clearly. I always thought Taoism had a little bit more of a practicality to its flow. Thank you very much, Dan, Fallon, Ash, everybody. Camillo. Some girls that should blow some. Yeah, all right, I had a good time. I hope this made sense. I hope may the darkness bring me comfort. Thank you very much. The darkness does bring me comfort. I like the unknown. I like pushing my boundaries. I like feeling where I have fear and going for it and making myself notice it and feel it and overcome it, you know? I do. Talking monkeys, just talking monkeys we are. Yeah, or as I say, we're just chemical computer data processors. We're yeah. I'm having fun though. I figured out how to make it somehow fun. Meat bags piloted by another lump of meat. I love it. I love it. This is a fun group. I don't know what to say, but thank you. Now, I don't know if I'm here next week. Next Monday, I have off. I might do a show, but I have a very busy weekend and I might need a day off, so we'll see. But most likely, maybe I'll be here. And who knows what the news is going to do. Yeah, thank you. Start the chat. Ask your friends, ask your family what they think of all this. Ask questions. Question everything, including yourself. I'm Cardone. Thank you. This is evening hour. There is a donate button in the chat. And if you're new, hit that damn like and subscribe. Pass it around. Let's go out with the end credits and party on, Wayne.